Hey, this is Aji. This is part two of my multi-series called Reduce, Rethink, and Restore. It's all about climate change mitigation and what we can do to reduce our carbon emissions on an individual level at home. So why is climate change such a prevalent issue? I believe that climate change is a direct result of neoliberal policies that promote the overconsumption of goods. The overconsumption of goods then in turn cause excessive carbon emissions into our atmosphere that affects wildlife, that affects human life, that affects our atmosphere, that affects our oceans, that affects biodiversity in general. And this is a real problem. But why are these policies set in place? Many of these policies are set in place, especially in northern countries such as Canada, the United States, countries throughout Europe. They're set in place because their economic models are based upon infinite growth of GDP. They really concentrate on forever expanding their growth, forever expanding their economies, and just never slowing down. And this basically promotes overconsumption of goods. And it's a vicious cycle if you ask me. So what do I plan to do about that in my life? What I plan to do is get away from this model of infinite growth, whereas we need to consume infinite amounts of goods that are basically unnecessary and useless and that have no meaningful value. What I plan to do is adapt a meaningful, minimalistic lifestyle where I purchase goods only out of necessity. And I'm not gonna lie, it is cost effective. But for me, I think that it gives me peace of mind, especially when it comes to the planet, doing my part in saving the planet. Um, so, what do I do in my personal life to reduce my carbon emissions? I made sure that all my light bulbs were LED. Fortunately, when I moved in, all my light bulbs were already LED, so I didn't have to worry about too much of that. But if your lights are not LED, I suggest that you change them for more energy sufficient ones. Not only will this help in your carbon emission, but it will definitely help you in your electric bill. So that is a plus. The second thing that I've done is reconsider my overconsumption of electronical goods. This is something that's very important because electronical goods have a heavy carbon emission footprint, especially when it comes to production. Raw materials are taken from places in the global south. The raw materials are sent to China, most likely to be assembled, where they are assembled in factories which burn fossil fuels. Once these devices are produced, they are sent over to their final destination for sale. This, as you can see, has a heavy carbon footprint. However, it doesn't end there. We want to change our iPhones, or we want to change our laptops every year, or we want to change our different electronic devices every year because we see a new model. We dispose of the old ones. We send them to recycling, and we have peace of mind thinking that they're being properly disposed of, when half the times they're not being properly disposed of. They're being disposed of in countries in Asia that are impoverished. They're being disposed of in countries in Africa that are being impoverished. There are huge amounts of e-waste graveyards that are around the world collecting heavy toxic metals. They recycle these electronics by smelting, by burning them, and this, of course, pollutes the air, pollutes the soil. It promotes neurotoxicity in the people that process them, and these are most likely impoverished populations. Neurotoxicity is prevalent. Stillbirths are prevalent. Low birth rates are prevalent. And even cancer is prevalent in these populations that process our electronic goods. So I think it's safe to say that e-waste is something that is very detrimental to our environment and to humankind. So for me, I think that I will hold on to my electronics as long as I can. And when they break, I plan on fixing them until I can't fix them anymore, because I don't want to contribute to the e-waste pile that is, contaminating our people, contaminating our earth, contaminating our environment, our water. Also, right now, I'm looking to eliminate single use items in my everyday life, such as paper towels. I use kitchen towels instead, such as cotton pads for my face. When I use toner, I use reusable ones instead of buying the cotton ones. I don't use plastic straws. I have switched my toothbrush for a bamboo toothbrush that is biodegradable. All of this will help me reduce my carbon footprint because I'm not constantly going back to buy these new items. These items I can wash, these items I can reuse as many times as I want to, especially kitchen towels that are highly durable, and the cotton pads that I can just wash, or I can just throw in the washing machine with cold water to conserve energy. Also, in your home, you should make sure that you insulate your home. If your home is not properly insulated, make sure that you take the necessary steps to insulate your home before winter comes. What I have done personally is I have put some barriers underneath my doors so that no draft will come in. I have also put on a plastic insulator onto my windows so that the draft won't come in through the windows. It should last me a pretty long time because I don't plan on taking them out even in the summertime. What I also do is when I'm not in a particular room in my house, I make sure that I close it and I turn the heat off in that area. Even though it might be cold, it's not occupied, so it's fine. I only heat the area in my home where I am occupying. Needless to say that this also helps me on my energy bill, which is a double plus for me. Speaking of heating, I've also brought down my thermostat 2 degrees down. This will bring down your energy bill to about 30 to 20%. That's what my local power company says, Hydro-Quebec. I live in Montreal, by the way. So they suggest reducing your thermostat to 2 degrees. So I've done that. And as a result, I just make sure that I wear a sweater, I have sweatpants and socks on, make sure that I'm comfortable in the house. Because I do get quite chilly. So I do make sure that I have, a nice comfortable sweater on and that I'm nice and warm. Another thing that I do is that I try to reduce my hot water consumption because it does take energy to heat the hot water. What I do is when I do use my washing machine, I make sure that I put it on cold water, especially when it comes to color clothes. This will even help you have less fading in your clothes and conserve them longer. So you don't have to go and buy new clothes and then contribute to fast fashion and then contribute to, more carbon emissions. Another way that I have figured out to conserve energy and thereby my carbon emission is by taking military showers. So you don't have to skip out on, a hot shower. If you want to conserve energy, what you can do is you get in the shower, you wet yourself, you turn off the water, then you can proceed to wash your hair, scrub yourself and everything, and then you turn the water on and rinse yourself. Hot showers take energy to heat up. Showers use a lot of water, and if you live in a place where electricity is pumped by water, then carbon emissions are already being used there. So it's very important to think about conserving water, conserving energy when it comes to hot water. This not only conserves energy, it conserves water as well, which is important when you consider all the places that are in drought and in lack of fresh water. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is hand washing your clothes. It's very good to get into the habit of perhaps washing your clothes every day. If you have one outfit that you wash every day, the less likely it's going to get piled up and the less likely you would need to use your washing machine. So what you can do is, hand wash your items in cold water, especially if they are colors, because it will conserve, you know, the color as I mentioned earlier, and air dry it, and that will give you zero carbon emissions throughout the week. This is for really keeping on top of your laundry, and you will find that you don't have clothes piling up everywhere. Just because we have our washing machines to our disposal, it's easy just to throw in, you know, a bunch of clothes and things of that nature and not think twice about it. But we need to reduce our carbon emissions, and this is something that I have been working on, reducing my laundry loads and trying to wash more by hand. Another thing you can do is to avoid food waste. You can make sure that you obtain fresh vegetables from your local grocer or your local farmers market. Make sure that they are local, so that you don't have items that are imported, which increases your carbon footprint. What I do is I make sure that I obtain fresh food every week, so that food doesn't go bad, and that, you know, we eat it up quickly, and then I can go and get some fresh fruits and vegetables. And also any vegetables or any scraps that do get uneaten, or that are just, you know, scraps from cooking, I make sure that I compost them. I'm working on a compost pile, because I think it's important, especially when it comes to you know, sending food to the landfill. When we send food to the landfill, it contributes to methane gases, which is a greenhouse gas, and it contributes to global warming. I think it's imperative on my part to really make an effort when it comes to food waste. And I think I've been doing good, because my compost bin hasn't gotten filled up in a while. I've only put a few items in there, and I think that I'm doing pretty good. So I'm happy about that. Another thing is reducing in meat consumption. I am not vegan, I'm not vegetarian at this point. However, I have significantly reduced my meat consumption. I am consuming more chicken than I am beef. Beef would be once or twice a month. And also I'm consuming more fish. So it's something that I'm working on, but it's important for me to take baby steps, because if I go straight into the deep end and and give up meat cold turkey, it's not going to happen. So I think that it's important for me not to pressure myself into going to that direction. So yeah, those are the things that I'm doing to lower my carbon emissions. I hope you like it. I hope that you got some tips from this video, and I hope that you can implement those things in your life to also reduce your footprint. And thank you. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.